All right, let's talk about you and your sleeping patterns and how they're directly impacting your stress levels. It is Jess, your life and transition coach through your inner vitality. And July, we're focusing all on stress. And specifically, right here, right now, we are talking about you and your sleeping patterns. All right, we're going to talk about a couple things: hormones. We're going to chat about the sunrises and sunsets and how they influence your sleep. I love those. And then, of course, give you a couple tips before we set you on your merry, sleepy way. You ready? Okay. The two hormones that I'd like to give some space to right now is cortisol and melatonin. So, when it comes to cortisol, which is your natural hormone for stress, that is highest first thing in the morning. So it actually increases as the sun starts to rise. That's kind of neat, right? Now, as your day goes, so your cortisol levels, if your biological clock is working properly, it's going to start to naturally start to peter off. Now, as the sun starts to set, your melatonin levels, which is the hormone in your body that helps you sleep, gets you feeling sleepy, that particular hormone starts to increase with the sunset. Now, to my husband's demise, I am a morning person and I wake up with the sunrises. Now, if any of you guys are waking up at times where the sun is obviously not up, I have a tip for you, so stay tuned. But first, what I'd like to do is address some struggles that I find are pretty common that I experience with my clients. One is that they have a hard time going to sleep. One of the things that you want to be very conscious of is your screen time. Now, you may have heard it before, but I think it still needs to be talked about. Your screen time, I recommend that if you're watching me right now, it's screen time, right? So that is your phone, tablets, any portable, laptops and your TVs. Those all emulate a blue screen. Now, why that is a big struggle when it comes to your evenings is the blue screen gives your body the sensation of a sunrise. So your body's going, whoa, 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 wait a second. The sun's not setting. So your melatonin levels that you're trying to build up are suppressed because your cortisol levels are now trying to combat and say, hey, sunrise, sunrise, not sunrise, wake up, wake up, wake up. So what I really need you to be conscious of is your screen time. My recommendation is 30 minutes to 60 minutes before you go to bed. Also say goodnight to those screen devices of yours. Now, for the people that cannot get rid of that, or you want to watch that movie before you go to bed, you can also get amber glasses, and those particular glasses, some of them can even fit over prescription glasses, and that also prevents the blue light for you when it comes to watching that or replying to emails that you need to do. So minimize your screen time, or maybe check into getting those glasses. Prescription glasses too, sometimes they actually have some on the higher end of the lenses that you purchase. They'll also have a blue screen protector as well. Okay, so we've talked about some of the predicaments about going to bed. And I know there could be a lot more, but we'll just start with these tips. And if you have any more questions, let me know, because I'll be happy to give you some more advice and tips that I'm aware of. Is your sunrise and sunsets. So I wanted to make sure that any of those individuals that we were talking about earlier, where maybe you're not waking up during those times, maybe you're working a night shift or a day shift, or you just get up so early in the morning you're actually getting up before the sun does rise, is getting and investing in a sunrise alarm clock. So I've been using one for myself for about maybe 2, probably 3 years now. And that I find very helpful, especially in the later part of the year when the sun naturally rises later in the day. So that for me, and you may find that in the US and Canada specifically, but that really does help because it emulates a sunrise in your own room. So the light starts very minimal and then it really starts to get brighter, and it does that over a span of about 30 minutes. I can tell you it doesn't actually get to the point where it plays sound. I'd say maybe twice a year I may wake up to that sound every time I do wake up to the light. And so that could be a really great way to help you wake up in times when the sun is not working with your schedule. Now, I want to throw some caution to supplementing with melatonin. I am not a medical professional. If you do that, I'd highly recommend that you talk to your doctor, your naturopath, in regards to that. I don't necessarily recommend supplementing it, and here's some of the reasons why you want to be very careful. Is if you do that, your body naturally stops reproducing it because it's making enough of it because you're supplementing. So when you take that out of your system, your body has to learn how to start reproducing that again. And this is where you want to be very, very careful. I'd recommend trying to use all different other avenues first naturally before you kind of go into that aspect. But if you do decide that you want to do that, I'm going to recommend you talk to a medical professional. The last tip that I do have, and this is about resetting that biological clock internally. And if you're finding that you're just completely off kilter, you can't go to sleep at night, you find yourself sleeping in throughout the day, and you have no real routine, and it's just because you're struggling with your sleep, it's not because of your work hours or whatnot, I'm going to get you to do this reset. It's about staying up for a full 36 hours. So what I mean by that is, say you wake up at 7:30 in the morning. So disclaimer, you probably want to do this on your weekend or when you have, a couple days where you don't have to be working. Is say you wake up at 7:30 in the morning. I want you to try to stay awake all the way to 7:30 the following morning. So that's 24 hours, no naps, no power naps, no sleeping. Keep yourself preoccupied. Maybe this is where screen time may help you. But when that next 24 hours, or that next, say, 7:30 in the morning happens, I want you to now continue to stay up another 12 hours. So, that could be 7:30 at night, 11 o'clock at night, to where you would typically want to be going to bed, 10:30, and then allow yourself to go to sleep. The hope is that you're so exhausted that your body is naturally going to want to sleep at that time and is going to get a very full and deep sleep. So when it does go to bed, say 36 hours or so later, it's now going to sleep for that 8 to 10 hours. Now make sure that you keep that alarm, put an alarm clock on so that you still wake up and try to get up at that 7:30 following those 36 hours, say. You only get about 8 to 10 hours of sleep. And then the same concept, try to really push through your day and do not sleep at all. Make sure you have no screen time an hour before you go to that sleep time. And then my hope is that will help to reset. Now that is a bit of an extreme, but if you're really struggling with that sleep, I'm going to recommend you try that. Of course, make sure you have a couple days where you don't have to be working or be anywhere for any commitments. You can just kind of be as your day goes, but you do want to try to make sure that 36-hour window, you don't sleep for that time period. Now, touch base, reach out to me if you do have any questions about the tip I just gave you or anything else that you've seen in the video. But I really hope that these are a couple things to start getting you to think a little bit more healthier with your sleeping patterns and making sure that you're getting a full night's rest. And enjoy those sunrises and sunsets. Sleepyhead.